As usual, we have a lot to fit into just 45 minutes, so I'll dive right in. Just so I can gauge the audience, your interest and experience, how many of our guests had a chance to attend one of the seminars that I did earlier this morning or earlier in the week? Okay, great. I'll make sure not to have any overlapping content. How many in the audience have less than a year of experience buying from somewhere in Asia? So, okay. Anyone in the audience that has over 4 or 5 years? All right, great. We should probably change the title to 10 huge mistakes that Mike made, because that's what really this is about. I'm not up here to say that I'm an expert and I know everything about doing business in Asia. These are really 10 mistakes that I made that cost me a lot of money over the years, and I'm happy to share them with you so that the same thing doesn't happen to you. I won't give. I hate it when I go to a conference and the person stands up there, says how great they are and why you should pay them for consulting fees. So I'm not going to hit you up for any marketing today. If you do need some more information, leave your business card and I'll send you plenty of information. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I'm recording all the slides. Recording the presentation. So if you want the PowerPoint slides, you want the links that are mentioned, you want the video recording, just leave your card and I'll send it all to you when I get back to China in a couple days. If I do a good job, I really would appreciate it at the end if you ask a few questions. The organizer is already talking to me about the potential for coming back next year, and if the audience is engaged with questions, then there's a higher likelihood that I can come back and enjoy the beautiful scenery and great food here in Australia. I've had a lot of rice in 17 years in China and love proper food. All right, let's dive right in. So my background, as you can tell, I've got the American accent. I grew up near Canada, and I came to Asia in '93 as an exchange student. Thought I was coming over for a semester or two, and now I run a company. I never left. Family, 2 children. I kind of have a joint venture of my own with my Chinese wife from Hunan and our 2 kids. So I've kind of been adopted by China, but 80% of my customers are in Australia, and we help them find and manage their supply chain in primarily China, but also greater Asia, Vietnam, a little bit in India, Indonesia. And so my Australian customers are selling their products on to these famous brands and retailers around the world. So my team is the group that's responsible for finding and managing the vendors. Also, I offer a lecture series at the China Sourcing Academy. That's why you'll see the logo at the bottom. Okay, let's have a little fun at first and talk about some mistakes that I made earlier on in my career. This little bottle over here is called baijiu. It means white liquor in Chinese. And when you go to China and you're having a signing ceremony, often it's quite normal, even at lunch, sometimes in breakfast, if you're up north China, they might bring out alcohol. And it's kind of awkward. You're there to sign a contract, and now there's a beautiful spread for at the dinner table or lunch table, and there's a little bit of alcohol. And you might think, well, what's the cultural norm here? How do I handle it? And so I have something that I call a baijiu backdoor, meaning I want to participate but not over-participate. And for those that have been in China, I bet you've had this experience, but let me tell you what will happen. You're getting ready to sign the contract. The supplier is really excited to have you visit their factory, and they roll out the red carpet. Asian suppliers are great hosts, and after you do the factory tour, you hop in the company van, you go to a nearby restaurant, great setting, wonderful food, and you sit down as the guest of honor at a round table. Your back will be to the window so that you can see the door. That's the seat of honor for guests. To your right will be the highest representative of the factory, usually the general manager, the owner. To your left will be the interpreter or the lowest person on the factory's totem pole. To their left will be like the sales team supervisor, quality director, financial officer, marketing manager, general manager's assistant, general manager. So there can be like 10 people sitting around the table with you. And in the middle, it's these little cups and this fancy bottle, or if you have a cheap supplier, this kind of cheap bottle of white liquor. And you're thinking, oh, no problem. I drink a little bit in Australia, not an issue. I want to participate, but not over participate. So what'll happen is the sales assistant will say, Mr. Smith, we're so happy to have you here all the way from Australia. We know it's a 9-hour flight to Hong Kong and 2 hours to get to the factory. We'd like to welcome you. We hope to get your order. Can we have a small toast, a ganbei? Thank you for coming. Oh, yeah, no problem. It's a small cup and just one person. Ganbei, cheers. 5 minutes later, the sales assistant superior says, Mr. Smith, it's a pleasure to have you all the way from Australia. We've heard wonderful things about your country, and I'd always wanted to see a kangaroo, blah, blah, blah. Can I have a cheers with you? Okay, cheers. Small cup, no problem. Ganbei. Then you count the people at the table and realize that there's 12 of them and one of you, and this little bottle starts to become more intimidating. And you can't say no because you've had a drink with the subordinate, so the superior is going to lose a lot of face if you say sorry. So they're not trying to get you drunk so you sign a contract. Was that 100,000 units or 1 million units? That's not the purpose of it. Often the suppliers, maybe they're a little bit hesitant to use English. They studied at school, but they're not comfortable speaking, so they're kind of getting a little bit lubricated as well at lunch or dinner meetings. So how do I get involved but not over-involved? And what I like to do is my Baijiu equalizer is, first I will just say, hey guys, I'm sorry, I don't feel like drinking today. I have a sore throat, or my wife doesn't like me smelling like a Baijiu when I come home, or for religious reasons. That's enough. It's not like you have to participate, but don't say no, I don't drink, and then halfway through the afternoon, oh, let me try some of that, because then everyone will pile on you, and ketchup can be very dangerous. So what I usually do is I will bring some alcohol with me that I know they find equally disgusting as I find Baijiu. So I will bring a bottle of Jose Cuervo tequila from North America, or a handle of Jim Beam from Kentucky, and say, oh, here is my gift for you as well. And when they say ganbei, oh, have you had Jim Beam before? And then the endless rounds stop, but I've participated by bringing a gift. So now I've now built a lot of relationship. So my point is, there's going to be cultural differences, how to use chopsticks, how to exchange business cards. Don't stress too much about it. The money's in your pocket. You're the buyer. The Asian side is probably worried about your food requirements and will you like the alcohol or not. So don't be intimidated when you see this stuff, but manage your expectations about when you see these kind of bottles. Okay, that's some fun stuff. Now let's get into some other mistakes that are commonly made, that I made early on in my career.